Hey guys, how's it going? Professor Shuckle here, and today I'm back with another Pokemon Draft League video. This time I'll be going over my Week 8 game for the WoW, and once again I have to apologize that this is going to be post-com. The reason for this one was I felt sick and I had a cold, so I couldn't, I didn't want to talk in live com, but also I didn't really want to john the game for like too long. So I was like, I'll just play it at the scheduled time. But since I can't live comment, I was like, since I'm sick, I'll just post-com this again. So I played this game on like Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'm recording this now on Friday once I feel better. So yeah, our opponent for this week is Yahoodles, who made the doc. So shout outs to him. And I've DM'd, he's DM'd me for help a couple of times, so he seems like a really cool guy. I don't think I've ever played him before, so this should be fun. So yeah, pretty cool, right? That we get to play a bunch of people we've never played before in leagues, which I think is pretty interesting. So yeah, let's jump into the matchup. Our opponent has a team of Great Tusk, Slowking Galar, Greninja, with like Battle Bond and Protean both allowed. Tinkaton, Thunderous T, Lycanroc Dust, Basque Legion. Is that male or female? I cannot tell. I don't know if both were allowed or one was allowed, but I think both were allowed. Right? I don't know. Haxorus, Glastrier, Arboliva, and Flareon. So, threats to our team. Great Tusk can be a little annoying, especially with like clear amulet, so you can't get the intimidate off on it, and then like rapid spin, ice spinner, close combat, bulk up. Actually, that is walled by Goldengo, so I guess you would need 4 attacks, which in that case I suppose Urshifu can beat it. I mean, it's annoying to switch into with like knockoff and rocks and stuff, and I can't really get my hazards up, I guess. But it's definitely scary. It can definitely be like EV to take hits, and it definitely hits hard. It has knockoff to be annoying, right? So definitely annoying. Like Great Tusk is a great Gloomon for sure. You can also do stuff with booster energy and stuff. Slowking Galar probably has to come for the Valiant. Actually, definitely has to come for the Valiant and like maybe the Urshifu. So I'm expecting a more Fizz-Tef set. But he can come in and pivot, and it's not the worst thing for my team to deal with because I do have a Goldengo, which switches in pretty safely. He could Chilly Reception and bring in Greninja, which I don't switch into that well. So that can be scary for sure. So we have to play around that, to be careful that we're not too passive against the Glow King. If I see it coming, it would probably be like Sludge Bomb, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Slack Off, or Chilly Reception something, because you don't really hit the Goldengo hard, so there's no reason to keep coverage for it, maybe. Greninja is super scary, could be Battle Bond Specs, could be I don't know if Physical's the best set, but I mean it could be. Could Hazard Stack, because the removal's not the best. Can do a bunch of things, right? Could just be boots with like, Dark Pulse, Gunk Shot, Hydro Pump, and Grass Knot or whatever, right? Or like SD Trailblaze, so you can hit the Rotom, I guess. Tinkaton, it's a little annoying to switch into as well because it can knock off and stuff, and it can also relieve Rocks pressure from Great Tusk. And then it does have like own tempo, so it doesn't take the Intimidate drop. And can definitely hit back hard with like Ice Hammer, Gigaton Hammer, Knockoff, Sword Stance, Bulldoze. Like it has a bunch of stuff like tools, so it can definitely be scary as well. Rotom should be a decent pivot, but like it can be annoying like getting knocked off and stuff. Thunderous T always scary, right? Like Landorus T is pretty decent check, but what he could also do is like with Chilly Reception have Weather Ball access to hit the Lando T, which could definitely be scary, and like Thunderbolt and Dark Pulse, I guess, or just plot Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, or Sludge Bomb, and Weather Ball, for example, could be pretty scary. Agility can be scary. You know, like you can do a bunch of things. Thunderous is pretty scary. Like in Rock Dusk, we do have a couple of like good checks to it, but um, like he would have to predict the right mon coming in for it to do like work. But obviously, it can still be scary. Like SD Clear Amulet could still be pretty scary. Although Valiant's a pretty good check to that because it resists both Excel Rock and Sucker Punch, although both would do a huge chunk of damage. Um, but because we have Valiant, we should not lose to Dusk, I think. Unless I guess it Trailblazers, which could be scary. Because it did get that this gen, I believe. So like it could SD up and then Trailblaze the Rotom to Oblivion. So have to be careful. Basque Legion is obviously scary with adaptability, hitting hard, and it does get agility to boost its speed, so it doesn't need rain necessarily. Difficult to switch into for sure, with like Shadow Ball, Surf, Ice Beam hits my whole team. Haxor is always scary, right? Like DD, Earthquake, Cosmo Breaker, and Outrage with like Clear Amulet, for example. Yeah, definitely scary as well. The last trio can be super bulky and annoying to deal with. And then the last two or whatever, right? Like, I'm not really going to prep for those two. Lando should handle the Flareon, and Goldango should handle the normal Grass Cut, right? So yeah, from our end, Valiant is decent outside of the Glow King, but probably again, you know, you needed to not lose to the speed boosting threats. Goldango pretty strong, like he doesn't really switch into Shadow Ball that well. His only resist is the Greninja, which doesn't really take it well. So Goldango again having a pretty good matchup, but this is a little tough because his team's pretty offensive and faster than Goldango, which makes it annoying. Like Goldango feasts on like fat mons, but his team doesn't really have a lot of like those fat bulky mons, right? It's a lot more offensive, so it might, even though it hits hard, it might struggle to get in, right? Leandra is pretty good into this match. Checks the Thunderous Team decently, checks the Lycanroc Dusk, can switch in the Flareon, the Haxorus, you know, so, and like he doesn't really switch into Earthquake pretty well, so that's pretty good. Rotom, again, probably needed for the Greninja and Dusk and stuff, you know, just being bulky and annoying as usual in pivoting. Zarude's pretty decent as well, like, there's a Tinkaton, but it does get Stomping Tantrum, which is nice. And it kind of is our only, like, resist to the dual stabs of Basque Legion. And it can be bulky enough to live an Ice Beam, right? So that way, it's pretty good and important in this matchup. Losing Darkest Lair sucks, otherwise it would be pretty good into the Glow King as well. Urshifu really good in this matchup, right? Punching Glove, Surging Strikes, Drain Punch, and like Thunder Punch, Trailblaze, whatever you want to do, it does really well here. Definitely breaks past his team pretty easily. Again, like his water resists are not the best, so Surging Strike should do a ton. Aqua Jet's a good like threat to have as well. Bulk Up's really solid with Drain Punch as well, so yeah, Urshifu Rapid, amazing matchup here for sure. Noivern has an okay-ish matchup, I would say, like to Defog, sure, in like Super Fang Taunt can be good, but offensively, not that great. There's a Glow King and Tinkaton, so it's not gonna do much ever, right? And it just gets revenged by Accelerock anyway, so, you know. It does outspeed Greninja, which is good, I guess. Dunsparce is okay, like, Spadaf Dunsparce can definitely eat hits, but once again, he has too many close combat mods on his team, which can definitely take advantage of Dunsparce, so, you know, it could be passive and get taken advantage of. Revavroom is not going to do much without Terra into Great Tusk, so which is unfortunate. Then Typhlosion, which also does really well, because as I said, his Ghost Resist is only the Greninja, and Typhlosion gets a move called Infernal Parade, which doubles in power if you get a status, and it has a 30% chance of burning. So you get like a base 120 power move plus stab, so 180 if you get the burn, right? So it's pretty strong, and again, it can definitely put in the work. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into our team. Starting up, we are rocking out with the Urshifu Rapid with the Punching Glove. As I said, it has a crazy good matchup this time. We're running Surging Strikes, Trailblaze, Drain Punch, and Bulk Up. Max attack, enough speed to outspeed Greninja at +1 after the Trailblaze, and the rest in HP just to be super bulky, which is good. Just to take on hits better. Punching Glove, Surging Strikes after Rock should always 2-hit KO, max HP, max defense, Glow King, which is really good. And nothing else on his team really switches into Surging Strikes that well, right? Which is really good. We can also bluff Scarf versus the Dusk and stuff, so that's good. This is just to, again, break, maybe win with Trailblaze. I don't know if I'll be able to get a Bulk Up and Trailblaze, so it's just depending on the situation, right? Like what I need. But it should be able to break pretty well, I believe, or sweep if it comes to that. Next up, Iron Valiant with the Booster Energy. Once again, we're boosting speed, and we're physical this time. And we're running Knockoff, Spirit Break, Close Combat, and Swords Dance. Stabs hits everything hard except the Glow King, so which we have Knockoff for. I do expect the Colbert Glow King, otherwise the Valiant would just kind of run through. So, but I didn't really have a better move. Like Shadow Claw didn't OHKO at +2, which was a little disappointing. So I just went with the Knockoff. Also, like, it's good to get rid of items, right? And to confirm Colbert. Like, so, yeah. And just max attack, so the highest attack we can be. Enough speed so that we're still speed boosting, and the rest is just defense. This is also like a way of checking Dragon Dance's Haxorus, Trailblaze Lycanroc Dusk, Protean Greninja, because I think if it gets Battle Bond, it'll be faster and just kill us. Rapid Spin Tusk, stuff like that. Trailblaze, Flareon, whatever. Next up, Lane Risk with a leftover set. We're pretty bulky. I think we have enough speed for Adamant Great Tusk, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I believe the speed is enough for Adamant Great Tusk. But we're running Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Grass Knot, Stone Edge. So Edgequake hits his team pretty hard. His only resist to Earthquake is the Thunderous T, right? Basically, which Stone Edge hits pretty hard. And then I just teched on Grass Knot for the Tusk. It should do about 50-ish%, even with the negative special attack nature. So I thought it was just good damage to have on the Tusk to chip it down into Spirit Break range, which was good. Yeah, and then lefty is just to heal. It's pretty HP invested and some speed F, because I thought I might need to pivot this in on Thunderous, so this helps with that. Next up, Goldengo with the Colbur Berry, super speed F, and we're running Make It Rain, Shadow Ball, Recover, Dazzling Gleam. Shadow Ball is only resist is the Greninja, which we are running the Colbert Lure with the Dazzle to take it out. Make It Rain is again just pretty strong, really good versus the Glass Trier and Tinkaton and stuff. The Tinkaton can Encore us because of Mold Breaker, I think. So we do have to be careful about that, not get Encore into Recover. And he can also T-Wave us if he really wants, but this is our main Thunderous check in my opinion. Maybe I should have been Power Gem just to hit it harder, but I didn't want to proc a weakness policy. I thought Shadow Ball was good enough. So yeah, basically just here for the Thunderous and the Glow King, put pressure. Didn't really want to put a lot of speed, because again, everything is faster, right? Because my Goldengo is here. And everything above this is just faster, so figured it was not worth it to run any speed. Next up, Rotom Wash with a mixed defensive set as well, more fist stuff though. You know, Volt Switch, Hydro Pump, Foul Play, and Will-O-Wisp. Volt just for pivoting, Hydro hits the Tusk and the Thunder is pretty hard. The only two resistances to Volt Switch. Will-O-Wisp for the Glass Trier or whatever, it's just good in general. And Foul Play was for the Haxorus in case it tries to as the Glass Trier just to hit them harder. So yeah, that's basically it. Leftovers again to get more chip. To get more recovery and stay healthier longer. Should be able to switch into Greninja, Tusk, Dusk, and Haxorus. Hopefully, well, Haxorus, if it's Small Breaker, can just bop us with Earthquake, so we do have to be careful about that, but yeah. At least we can stop setup, because we can always stay in and just foul play the Haxorus, which should be enough chip for a Spirit Break from Valiant, which is good. And last, this was supposed to be Zarude originally, but our Week 9 opponent has not been playing his last 3 games, and I'm hoping they're okay, they might be busy, that might just be it. So I wasn't sure if that game would get played, and I wanted to use every mon on my team at least once. So I bent Zarude, which has not been performing that well for me anyway. I think Zarude's a good mon, it's just a me issue, but, you know, so I was like, I'm just going to take Typhlosion, just to use it at least once, because, you know, in playoffs, you want to take your best team, so I'm not going to force things there. So I just ran Typhlosion, Choice Scarf, enough speed for Great Tusk, and we're just running 2 stabs of each, like 2 moves of each stab. Infernal Parade, which is a 60 base power move with the 30% chance to burn, and if things are status, then it goes up to base 120 power, which is pretty cool. So if like the Greninja comes in and we Infernal Parade and get the burn, then we get a stronger hit right away, which is really good. Chip it down. Eruption, just, you know, if I get the lead matchup right, I just click the freest Eruption to, like, you know, just do damage and swap out if needed. Flamethrower for the second, like, fire stab, just to be, like, more consistent. And then Shadow Ball, as once again his ghost stabs are not, like, pretty bad, so I can just click Shadow Ball as well, in case I'm not getting the burns or whatever, you know? So, yeah, and Frisk has the ability just to, like, scout for items, which I thought was pretty helpful. So yeah, let's jump into the match, and just make this bigger so you can see. Our opponent decided to bring Basculegion, Great Tusk, Glow King, Lycanroc Dusk, Greninja, and the Arboliva. So unfortunately, he did bring a Ghost Resist, which is a little annoying. A little surprised not to see the Thunderous or Haxorus, because I believe those mons were pretty good into me. But the rest of them make sense, like the Tusk, Glow King, Greninja for sure were coming. Basculegion I know he really likes, so it makes sense. The Duskin, the Arboliva are the ones I was not sure would come, but, you know. So seeing this, I decided to just lead, what do you call it, Typhlosion. I felt like it led pretty well into everything except the Dusk and Greninja, right? And, I guess I could have led Rotom, which seems pretty okay into everything as well. But I figured to just lead Typhlosion just to scout for an item, and, like, I can switch, right? It's not the end of the world. So I do lead Typhlosion as he leads the Dusk and reveals to be Sash. So in my mind, I was like, oh, he's probably like the rocks, because my removal is bad. He just wants to get after his rocks, and he's probably like Excel Rock and whatever. But I didn't think Excel Rock would like kill me because he was Sash. He could be SD, right? So I was like, I think it's better for me to just Infernal Parade once and then swap out if needed. So Infernal Parade, it does 51%. It gets the burn, which is pretty cool, as he does click rocks. And because he's burned now, Excel Rock's not going to do as much, so I can just click Infernal Parade again. He could switch into the Arboliva, but that's not the end of the world, right? Because I do have a Goldengo. So I just click Infernal Parade as he decides to sack off his Lycanroc Dusk. So Typhlosion already getting its first kill within the first 2 turns, which is pretty cool. And that's also good because that's one of his priority gone. He still has Shuriken and Aqua Jet, but at least his Excel Rock and Sucker Punch is gone, which is good. In comes the Greninja. I decided to just stay in and like scout what this wants to do. I guess if this was Battle Bond, it could be scary right here. But I guess that way it made sense, right? That I keep my Rotom and stuff healthy. Instead of like switching in on like Specs Dark Pulse and taking way too much. So basically I want to scout like what kind of item or set he was. So I decided to just stay in Infernal Parade. As it does 22, as he does go for the spike, in reveals to be Protean, which is good. Which means my next Infernal Parade will do a lot more. Which I go for. I should maybe call the switch that he knows I'm Scarf. So he's probably going to go into his resist, but I don't make that call. So this is pretty bad play by me. I should have definitely doubled here. I could have gone Rotom, which was an okay make round because I can Volt Switch on this Arboliva, right? Incoming. which would be cool. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess I could do Urshifu Rapid as a mid ground too, but I didn't really want to take damage on it unnecessarily. So I think if I switch, I would have gone into Rotom, right? So, and then I could just Volt Switch out into Goldengo on this. But I don't make that play, so this thing comes in for free, and I do have to switch here. So I go into my Goldengo thinking I'll just eat anything from this. And it clicks the Earth Power and does 81%. And I was like, holy moly, what the heck? Again, I did not know what this thing does, as it's obvious. And I thought Goldengo would just eat, and then this is not the mid ground because it does get Earth Power. So I went from a ground weak to a ground weak, which is tough. But this did tell me that this, I mean, I wasn't calcing, but this felt like specs because you saw my Goldengo, right? It's like max HP, almost max BDF. And Goldengo is a bulky mon. So it's like, this is specs, right? Or it has to be, like, seems crazy to do that much damage. But since there was no Thundurus, this was pretty expendable. And I had other ways around the King, in my opinion. So I was like, it's fine. I'm just going to click the Make It Rain here. And get some chip on this. As I do click, it does half. As he is Seed Sower, and he clicks the Earth Power and gets rid of a Goldengo, which is cool. Here I decide to just go into Lando. I'm also Spit F on this, so it's like, I just want to get my rocks up basically. And if he is not specs and he's just like Expert Belt or something, like, this would hurt in terrain, but at least then I would know, right, that it's not like specs or whatever. So I decided to get up my rocks. I thought he would have to fear like U-turn and stuff too. So as I click my rocks, as the Great Test does come in, terrain's up, so I just go for the Grass Knot as he reels to be booster speed, which is pretty scary, for sure. And I go for the Grass Knot, which is 69, but I guess that makes sense because if he's booster speed, he's probably like, because his attack and defense are so high, it has to be like almost max speed and then like a lot of bulk because you don't want to have any attack or defense investment, otherwise you get the booster in that, I think. So he's pretty bulky. So the Grass not only does 69, but again, it's good chip, right? That's in range of Spirit Break even after the bulk up, which is pretty cool. Actually, maybe not after 2 rounds of terrain, but he clicks the Ice Spinner and gets rid of the terrain, so doesn't get that recovery. And because my Typhlosion is faster and his fire resist is also the Greninja, well, and the Basculegion, I guess, both of which will still take some chip plus rocks. So I decided just going to Typhlosion and click Flamethrower. Try to get the most mileage out of this mon, I guess. So I click Flamethrower as he does decide to suck off the Tusk. And I was expecting the Greninja or Basculegion to come in, but again, the Greninja is not Battlebond, so I was not as scared. But the Basculegion comes in, I decided to just click Flamethrower because I do die to hazards on re-entry, so figure there's no point saving this. As he does click Agility and then clicks Shadow Ball. Luckily, he's not Life Orb, which is good for us because I think that would have really hurt like my team. So I go into Rotom and decide to just Volt Switch out, thinking it would kill, but I click Volt Switch as he does Shadow Ball, does about 46, and Volt Switch doesn't kill because I guess with Agility you get to run bulk, right? And or maybe just Rotom's too weak because I'm not invested. And this lives, and I'm like, shit. And I didn't know if my Mons lived because Valiant is pretty frail, and so is Urshifu on the specially defensive side. But my only play here was to go into the Urshifu and hope I lived. But this, if I do live, I do get the opportunity of clicking Trailblaze, which I think is pretty cool. So he goes for the Shadow Ball and does 65, so we're able to live. All our HP investment paying off. And that's why I just said that thank god he was not Life Orb. Actually, I guess if he was Life Orb, he would have died because of Volt Switch plus chip. So yeah, but I'm able to click Trailblaze and get the speed boost and get the kill. Here, in my head, he was like, he's forced to go into King unless he has Shuriken on his Greninja, in which case he can keep his King at full and just, you know, kill my Urshifu with Warrior Shuriken. In comes the King. I do have to chip this down for the Valiant, so I just go for the surging strikes do about 65%, which is pretty good. He's at 23%, which should be in knockoff range. But in my also, this kind of proved that he was not fully physically defensive, because I feel like when I look, Max only surging strikes only did like 55 or something, I believe, 50 to 55 or something. So this definitely feels like he's not fully physically defensive, like he has some speed F2 or some like investment, special attack or something. And in my head, I was like, okay, this should die, but basically, I have a play which is SD here, and because of the booster energy, and we know Greninja is not Scarf, and the what do you call it? Like the Arbaliva should die, right? Because it's at 50%. With Drain Punch, or actually I have close combat, so yeah, it's even more dead, both of them. So if I click knockoff and he dies, then he loses anyway, because CC plus CC will just pick him off. Unless for some reason I guess he goes Arbaliva and he has Shuriken, and he gets like 5 hits or something, I guess. But even then, I think the Rotom would beat the Greninja in that case, right? So his play has to be to save the Gloking. In my head, I thought this was 50-50, but I guess it was not. I was wrong at the time. Because I was like, oh, what if I SD and he Sludge Bombs? Because he knows I have to SD. And then I lose, because Rotom can beat this Gloking, right? He just switches out 2 times, gets regen, and then beats my Rotom. So I was like, oh, he could just stay in and Sludge Bomb, like, because he's been staying in and sacking everything. So out of that, I just click the knockoff, as he does make the right play and switches out his Gloking into the Arbaliva and sacks that off. The Grassy Terrain's nice for us, though. We get a little bit of health back, and he comes in again, and I'm not really sure why he swapped out here. Actually, I guess it makes sense, because if he kills me there with because if he kills me there with the Sludge Bomb while I do that much damage, then I think my Rotom wins, because Greninja cannot kill my Rotom, like if I was Scarf Rotom, right? Because he did know my item, and I could have been Scarf Bulky Rotom, and I could just Thunderbolt 2 times and win, I think, is what he was worried about, like if it was Scarf Rotom. But, so I guess that switch makes sense, but obviously knockoff didn't kill him at that health. So he does switch again, as I do go for another knockoff. Is the Greninja reveals to be Life Orb, and I was like, oh, since the Life Orb was gone, I decided to go for the SD here, as I eat the Surf, barely, and you kind of just hoped he was not Shuriken, I guess. I don't know if I needed to SD, but I suppose it makes sense, just in case he switched back to Gloking, I guess. So here I just click the Spirit Break, take out the Greninja. In comes the Gloking, and now I can knock it off. And as you see, it does 54, so he does live. So yeah, he was not max defense. So if I had an SD, it would have done 27, right? And he was at 44, so he'd be at 17%. So yeah, if I was Scarf Rotom, then Thunderbolt would kill. So that would have been tough. So I guess I get that play, but I should have SD'd way before, and not on the Greninja, which could have been Shuriken anyway. But I got lucky and bailed, I guess. You know, lucky and bad thrives again. And I can just go into Rotom and foul play this and take it out. I don't really calc, I was just hoping foul play just killed. Just because I was disappointed with the Volt Switch damage on Basque Legion, I wasn't sure if it would kill. And then, what do you call it? Hydro Pump can miss, so foul play just seemed like the best click. And we're able to clutch this one out, narrow 1-0 win, which should also clinch our playoff spot. That's what TJ told me, at least. And if I haven't clinched and you don't see me in playoffs, we just blame TJ, right? So yeah, as you can see, we have 12 points now because of 6 wins. We do have that bonus point things, and TJ has a bunch of those. So he has 10 points from wins, because 5, and then he got 3 bonus points from, like, I think he 6-0'd somebody, got a bonus point, and then 2 were from like close losses, I think. So yeah, he does have more points, so he will be ahead even though we have more wins, which is fine. But I think we should be clinched, especially if we get a forfeit win last week, which is a pretty high possibility. And then we're gonna play the other conference, which is called Ilex. I think it's named after the forest. And I guess we would be playing one of these 4. I haven't looked at these standings in a while. So, yeah, like, if you're third here, I guess we would play the second person here, so Odin, which would be cool, because Odin's a really good friend of mine. And I think I played him once for APA before, and then never again, I think. But, like, playing anyone from here would be cool, because they're all, like, really good players. Except Hunter, that guy sucks. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I do think I will not be playing next week. I think I'll get a forfeit win, most likely. So I'll probably see you in like 2 weeks for playoffs or whatever, like round 1 of playoffs, hopefully. So yeah, thank you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.